Okay, once I knew which country I was playing, I knew once they pushed the king pawn to the e4 square and then pawn the e5 square, I knew something was up. So, of course, you saw I matched him up, but by pushing my pawn up, one, to keep control of that center. Okay, the classic, start bringing the knights out, start to attack the pawn, but I already know I'm still got control of the center because my queen's protecting that pawn. So I bring my knight out, add some extra strength to the center, and as you can see, he's already lost momentum, especially being or having the first move. So I was able to gain the momentum by moving the knight into play, into battle, doubling up on the protection of the pawn, keeping the center in check, also putting some pressure on his e5 pawn, on e5. Okay, the classic attack. So I have choices. It is better. I could have moved the f pawn up to f3 square, blocking in that pawn, keeping his pawn, keep his f2 pawn or f2 in place, so that, or blocked, so that way the knight, his queenside knight, will have trouble getting into the battle. His queenside bishop would have trouble getting into the battle. His queen have a little bit of difficulty defending the king, and his kingside bishop would have definitely a lot of trouble getting into the battle. But I decided on a different course of action because basically players from this country, I try to go after their queen right away because I know they like to use their queen to do a lot of sneaky foul stuff, I should say. So even though I can play without a queen, I see that once these players lose their queen, which I've played players from this country many times, they tend to resign the game immediately. And sometimes even if there's an even exchange of queens and we still have the same number of pieces, they'll normally just quit the game. So since I couldn't get access to his queen right away, I figured that, hey, I'm just going to go ahead he or she, the player queen right away. He's trying to. The player's trying to hide behind that F2 pawn. So I figured, okay, let's start opening them up by removing the queenside knight. So after the exchange, we opened up the queen side considerably, giving him a chance to get the queen and the queenside bishop and the queenside rook to come into action. But to my surprise, he hasn't castled into safety. So since I've seen him not castling into safety, that means I see that he's not trying to commit to either side, because he's trying to see where I'm going to attack before he decides to castle into safety where he would have the most safety. So he's being very cautious, but at the same time, he's also wasting down a lot of time as well. Whereas I'm conserving my time by matching his moves, keeping control of that center. Whereas he has 2 pawns and a knight. I have, I think, a little bit more power with a knight and queen and pawn facing down those center squares. I move the queen up, trying to get prepared for battle, as I can see that he's trying to come with a kingside assault down the road. He's giving me some clues. Okay, so he felt confident castling to the king side. So that means he feels he could defend that king side and also attack my king on the king side. So I know something's on the way. So all I have to do is just, especially since I'm up on time, just sit back, relax, let him reveal his plan, because he's going to become desperate because he's running out of time, and just prevent and block his plans at every angle. Okay, I bring the knight into play, development, every piece one move, and plus that knight also helps keep an eye on that F5 square, along with the queen and the pawn. Okay, he tries to come up and be very clever. He plans to try to take over the center squares by linking up pawns. As you can see, the pawns are linked up diagonally, so he can open up and start taking advantage of those diagonals to begin his attack with his queen, knight, and he has 2 bishops, and I figure he got a knight and his queen. So 4 pieces I figure he's gonna put into the battle or into attack mode, and while leaving his rooks behind to protect his king. And I like his little defense that he got going on. Where he has the castle there. He has the bishop there defending the king. And then also the knight. So he's preparing for battle, for defense, and attack. So I thwart his plans by just prophesizing and looking into the future, a few moves, and seeing what he's going to do with tying me up and trying to waste my time. So I immediately moved backward. So he has to come up with a new plan, which will waste down his time somewhat. Okay, so as I anticipated, he will start bringing down his bishops, knights, and queen. Keep me occupied. But I kind of ignore him and castle. So that way my king is on the opposite side of that bishop. Okay, and as I anticipated, he begins his assault in a very sneaky or very, I would say, covert way. So basically, in war, you just don't let the opponent know your plans, but try to be deceptive. So, but I've already a couple of moves seen what he's trying to do or what he wants to do. So as you can see, that H pawn on H7, he's targeting that. He's targeting to try to nail me or seal me in a corner over there. So I give him what he wants, but because I already know that he hasn't had before he gets a chance to bring that bishop or knight and queen up at the same time, attacking that square or that area. So I go on the attack knowing that he's going to be thinking a little bit. All right, so I attack that bishop and then see what he's going to do next. Okay, that's what I figured he would do next. So I was always prepared for him, and now it's time to bring my king back into the fray. My queen back into the fray. Okay, so that cleared off one attacker. So now he has the knight and he has the queen. So now I see that that was a good move, putting pressure on him. I was thinking that he was going to move backwards as well to keep pressure, but and try to get the other bishop and knight into the game. But as you can see, his knight can't really go very far except onto the H4 square, but that pawn to H6 served more than an attack function. It also stops the knight from coming down. And then his queen comes down, being protected by the knight, and checkmates me in the corner there. So I saw through his plans way ahead of time. So I know once his pieces attackers cannot be working together or coordinated, within the time frame that he needs, then it's a win. It's a win for me. Then I seal his coffin in, since there's no attack on the queen side being mounted. All his energies and focus is on attacking the king side. So why have him distracted there? And I know what he's gonna move next. Totally destroy any hopes of his queen and knight with that G6 move, or G7 to G6, stopping the queen from having any interest in coming down there and breaking up that defense. Okay, so of course I knew he really wants to get in there, but he's just wasting time. Okay, because I'm not going to take, because I know he's just trying to open me up. So basically what I do is tighten the noose on his knight. So now his knight can't even move to the H4 square. But at the same time, I know that he has a little bit more of advantage than I have, because with my queen in the position where it's at, with my knight gone backwards or reverse on defense, and with his knight and bishop and queen and two pawns, two center pawns, and with my F rank, with my F column lacking. He has a little bit more maneuverability. He's a lot more maneuverability and power to come in and do some damage. But as you can see, I have a full faith in my pawns. So I'm having lots of fun with the full faith of my pawns. And that's a lot of trust, because my king's defense is reliant on those pawns. Whereas now he has a pawn down on the H5 square, and he definitely wants to very, very badly link that up with his queen, but it's not going to happen. Okay, see? And I told you, like with the flip of a switch, he's able to easily take advantage and exert pressure on the center squares. He was there, he was doing well, but at the same time, he moved into trying to get that bishop into battle. So I move up, my firepower back into action. As you notice, I can also move over to the queen side with the bishop attacking his knight and attacking all that diagonal there. Okay. So that shows you right there, he's trying to get all his pieces back into the battle. but does he have enough time to do it? So, yeah, and it's going to be devastating if he does get that knight on that G4 square, because as you can see, his plan was to come down there and be protected by the pawn. He could check me, and I can't do nothing about it. And then he found another way to coordinate his knight, bishop, and queen. So, and I haven't been able to get rid of any defenders so far. So I know I have to get back into the battle, into the fray. So the knight goes out. All right. And that was unexpected. So I think he was just under pressure, or he was just trying to just completely, be sneaky. And instead of going for the knight and then the queen checkmate combo, I think he really wanted to get all of his pieces and ensure a checkmate. So, instead of, using up the time that he didn't have much time left. So I think he was just overthinking it. And I think that was his first mistake right there, trying to open up the F column, so he could dominate by putting his rook into the battle. Okay, so I smarten up and just start moving start shifting my pieces over to the left. Okay, that was expected. Okay, but he wasn't expecting that I was waiting for him to mess up and get my queen, move out the way, and get my queen into battle. And that's why it was nice to move the king out the way, so he couldn't have any. So my queen and king aren't aligned in any way where he can. And also, I'm off to the side there in case the knight does decide to come down and exploit that weakness on the F6 square, checking my king. So if he decides to do come there, it won't really do much, because because I'm already out the way. And then I can, if he does get there, I can always come with my queen back down to protect myself from checkmate while winding down his time with my queen by exchanging queens. All right. Okay, so he decided to try that attack. And I don't understand why he would do that, which is kind of silly, because, he just gave me a window so I can come right there and take the and take the pawn on G3, check, and then start following up. And now I already know there's no threat because his knight is out of position. And the other beautiful thing about taking the pawn on G3 is that when I check him, he moves to the side. He has no way to protect himself. Then I just take one of the another attacker out of the fray, which is the bishop. And then at the same time checking the king. Then the king moves out the way again. Then I come down, bam, take the pawn. Take the H pawn or H5 pawn. But instead, I move backwards. And funny enough, he still hasn't protected that pawn, that G3 pawn. And now you see, my main goal is not to checkmate him because I already know he's down, he's low on time. So my main goal is just to pretty much just keep him out of the fray. So I already stopped his knight is out of position. He has a vulnerable pawn, which can also be exchanged or taken at any time. And also his bishop is out of the fight. His rook is out of the fight because his knight is blocking. His queen is is in the fight, but can do no damage for the simple reason that my queen is there protecting the king and controlling all the king's side right now. Okay. And even though it would have been nice to be able to push that pawn up there, but hey, he took the pawn, and he messed up because now, he can't really defend it. But, with the rook, because the knight is blocking his way. So now I got full control of the situation. Full control of the situation. And then of course you see I can get my other rook into the fight. Queen's lined up to his king. It's a beautiful day. And then he runs out of time.